watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out the website to get the gear. The link will be in the description.
Voice music.
From the land of the gang signs and blue rags, where we post up, never hesitate to blast. Where the weak don't last and the strong end up on the map. From the Golden State, where the real G's be at. From the LA County, homie, where we know to bang. Shit is nothing, growing up, you knew you had a back. Put it down for the vital, never will I rank. Ponte ducha all the time, you better watch your back. Cause she'll crack up, homie, it don't matter where you at. This is real gangster shit, only talking facts. It's the truth, ain't no lie, we don't need no caps. Just a Glock, stolen whip, in a Blasky mask. Shit is nothing busting hollers, we don't need to brag. From the
G-File.
Alright, now that I was able to get a hold of my homies, we're gonna start off right here with the largest neighborhood within the area that is the most known neighborhood through these parks, you know, that people recognize, is the Varro Norwalk. Now, Varro Norwalk is the largest neighborhood in Norwalk, you know what I mean? Their numbers are just massively, you know, I was told that they're roughly in the thousands. So that's a whole lot of members. Considering the fact that this neighborhood has been around since the 1940s, I was told, roughly around those times. So the late 30s, early 40s is when this neighborhood was established. So that's already going back a long time, you know what I mean? And the Norwalk gang, you know, their territory in Norwalk is, you know, is pretty vast. You know what I mean? From it stretches from 166th Street all the way to Upland Street, between Pioneer Boulevard and Norwalk Boulevard. You know what I mean? So that's a massive amount of territory. And they have several clicas, you know, due to the numbers that they have. But the most infamous and famous one is the one-ways. And they're called the one-ways due to the one-way streets that are right there. You know what I mean? The one-way that stretches out, you know what I mean? That is why, you know, it's called the one-way, you know? And but they have several cliques, you know, but that's the most, you know, known one, because you do have other cliques like the Termites, the Locotes, the Primos, the Dudes, the Night Owls, and a whole other cliques, like a whole other amount of cliques. Because like I have said, this is just a large neighborhood, you know what I mean? Because Norwalk is a pretty big city in general, you know what I mean? It's a pretty big, decent sized city. So, you know, you're gonna have, you know, a lot of members, you know, and they're also located by Xavier High School, you know what I mean? And they tend to beef it with almost every neighborhood in Norwalk and Artesia. As a matter of fact, the neighborhoods in Artesia and Norwalk just seem to have bitter rivalry. Seems like there's heavy animosity between both cities. You know, there's no love there. You know what I mean? Heavy beef with like Carmelas and Artesia and stuff like that, you know. I was told that due to the heavy beef between Carmelas is because they had closed John Glenn High School down, and so the guys from Norwalk ended up getting transferred to the school where the Carmela vatos were, and that's what created the pleito that exists till now. You know what I mean? But yeah, nonetheless, the Norwalk neighborhood, the very notorious, is treacherous in Norwalk, homie. The neighborhood has been hit with all kinds of axe motions, you know, give law enforcement a hard time, and definitely continue to put their Varro up on the map. These guys ain't no jokes, no pushovers. These guys are notorious right here. But that's what's up with the Varro Norwalk. Shout out to all my homies from Norwalk. Shout out to Caesar. I hope everything's going good with you. I haven't heard from you in a while. Shout out to the homie Big Head. Gracias, my boy, for the info and everything like that. Shout out to the homie Pee Wee. You know what I mean? That's another feed me vato. Shout out to Listo. You know, and shout out to all the homies from Fabian too. Shout out to all the homies from Norwalk that I have right there that all right, now right here you have Varro Peaceful Varro Norwalk, the PVN neighborhood, Peaceful Varro Norwalk, not to be confused with Norwalk. Norwalk and Peaceful Varro Norwalk are two different hoods, you know what I mean? They just both have Norwalk, you know, in the title, but they're different neighborhoods, no relationships with each other. Now, the Peaceful Varro Norwalk dates back already, I was told, since the 50s, 60s, por ahí, so I was told. And this neighborhood is located right there by the Little Lake Park, almost by Pioneer and Plungy Boulevard is where this neighborhood is located. So through those outskirts, through those back streets, is where you can find this neighborhood. And the reason why it's called Peaceful Vario Norwalk, well, I was told, is that that was like the more nicer looking part of Norwalk, you know what I mean? So they took the inside and just flipped it. So that's what I was told, you know what I mean? That, you know, they took that insult and just ran with it, you know what I mean? So that's, you know, how they get their name, you know, Peaceful Vario Norwalk, you know. You think that there's peace right there, and they're gonna whip out that piece and leave you in pieces. You know what I mean? Because these homies are riders. They have their riders. You know, they're pretty large. I was told that they're roughly more than 100 heads. So you know, it's a pretty decent sized neighborhood. You know, it's not like really big and it's not small. It's just an average sized neighborhood. Who has a well-known, you know, reputation over here. You know what I mean? They handle their business. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no slouches, ain't no pushovers, despite what they're gonna want to say in the comments. Like I said, neighborhoods just handle their business and have their riders, you know what I mean? That do their thing, you know. You can't take nothing from those individuals. They do their thing. Shout out to the homie Peanut from Peaceful Vario Norwalk. There's a solid homie right there. Shout out to all the homies from Peaceful Vario Norwalk that be holding it down still to this day, putting their Vario up on the map right there. Another neighborhood that you have right here in Norwalk, and not to be confused with the other Norwalk sets, because this neighborhood also has Norwalk in their title. You have the MBD neighborhood. Now, the MBD neighborhood stands for Varro Neighborhood Norwalk. Neighborhood Norwalk is a neighborhood that's already been well established right here in Norwalk by the Vista Verde Parque. Is their home dojo, their domain, their where they be getting it on and cracking, you know what I mean? Where they be handling their business. And this neighborhood is it's not a large neighborhood, but it's not a small neighborhood. It's just an average sized neighborhood who's been right here already for a cool minute. I was told since roughly around the 70s, 80s, but yeah, I was told this neighborhood was established. You know, roughly, you know, the more newer neighborhood out of the rest of the Norwalk sets. But even though they're not as old school as the other sets, I mean, they've been able to hold their ground against these bigger, larger neighborhoods, you know, throughout this whole entire time. So, you know, to let you show their willingness to hold it down, their heart and balls, you know what I mean? Because while other sets get gobbled up by these other much larger neighborhoods, they've been able to hold their ground and continue to do so and put theirs on the map. You feel me? These guys ain't no slouches or no pushovers, you know, despite what people want to say. I mean, they've been able to do their thing and continue to do so, you know, putting their Varrio up on the map. You know what I mean? But that's what's up with the neighborhood, Norwalk. Right there, holding it down, no relation to the rest of the Northern Norwalk sets, you know what I mean? They're their own neighborhood and their own rights, and continue to, you know, hold it down like that and continue to put their neighborhood on the map. But that's what's up with the neighborhood Norwalk right there. Yeah, Sprayer Street Locals. Now, it's a more smaller neighborhood located right here on Sprayer Street. Now, I can confirm that it's a 1-3. That's what I was told. That's what they ride, but I can't confirm it. I was told that it was also a tagging crew. You know, I'm not from that neighborhood to neither say, you know, I'm just going based on what I was told, that it's roughly a smaller neighborhood that was started roughly around the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's just a small group of individuals, no more than 20 heads, I was told. But yeah, that's who they are, you know, the SSL neighborhood, and representing for theirs right there on Sprayer, right there in Norwalk. But that's what's up with them. Another neighborhood that you have right here is the Orange Street Locals, the OSL, so not to be confused with Opal Street Locals, is Orange Street Locals. Is a neighborhood that's located right here in Norwalk, named after Orange Street, obviously, you know, Orange Street that's between Pioneer and Rosecrans in Norwalk. You know, that's where their neighborhood is located, right on Orange Street. You know, is their domain, their dojo, where they be handling business. Now, this is roughly more of a newer neighborhood because they only been around since the 90s. You know what I mean? Right here in Norwalk, they've been around here since the 90s. Roughly a small neighborhood. I was told that they're roughly about 70 members. So, you know, more of the more smaller sized neighborhood right here. You know what I mean? Because their neighborhood is not that large. It only consists of like 5 blocks, you know, within the Orange Street area right there. So, you know, more of a smaller, you know, neighborhood. But nonetheless, homie, I mean, even though people can say what they want, I mean, they continue to hold it down right there. You know what I mean? Continue to put in work. You know, they be having shootouts and all kinds of shit. You know, it be going down right there. You know what I mean? right there near the alleys, you know, is where they be having, you know, shootouts and bombing homes and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? They were going at it with the African Americans too, you know, pretty heavily. The reason why they put the gang injunction against Orange Street, you know, because of the animosity or hate crimes, as it was branded by the government towards this neighborhood for them bombing an African American's house, you know, and you know, shooting it out right in those alleys, you know, like towards them, whatever, is the reason why this neighborhood was pressed by law enforcement the way it was. You know what I mean? So even though it's a more smaller neighborhood located in Norwalk, you know, they continue to still hold it down right there. You know, continue to still represent theirs and keep putting their neighborhood on the map, because you know they tend to beef it with all the neighborhoods around there. But hey, like I said, homie, they right there, they doing their thing and continue to do so. Another large neighborhood that you have in this side is the Varro Carmela neighborhood. Now, the Varro Carmela neighborhood is on the opposite side of the freeway on Rosecrans. You know, on the opposite end of the 5 freeway, where Norwalk's on one side of the freeway, Carmela's on the other side of the freeway. So I would say everything that's from Carmelita to Rosecrans to Mapledale and to where you hit the freeway, everything that's in the middle is considered their neighborhood, which is a pretty large chunk of territory. You know what I mean? You could just find them out, you know, throughout Carmelita, right there on Mapledale too. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's pretty vast territory, close to the Ramona Park as well. You know, that's their main domain where they be getting on and cracking. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just a large chunk of territory, and this is a large neighborhood. You know, not only on the vast side of the freeway, that's only their territory, that they're the only neighborhood on that opposite end of the freeway, but that they've been around since the 1920s, 30s, I was told. So that's what I was told, at least, that they've been around since then. So they've been here already for a long time. The reason why it's as large as it is and dominates the way they do, you know what I mean? Heavily going at it with like the gangs in like Norwalk and Artesia. You know, they tend to seem like they have a lot of beef, but at the end of the day, they have the numbers to combat this beef. So, you know, it don't really matter. They be holding it down right here, representing for theirs, putting theirs on the map, not to be confused with Corona Varro Locos or Compton Varro Locos or Conejo Viejo Locos. This is Carmelita Varro Locos, you know, the CVLS on this side. I know a lot of neighborhoods use this abbreviation, but they're all different. And this is the Carmelitas right here. Definitely holding it down. Definitely representing for theirs in the southeast and putting theirs on the map. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no chumps, ain't no pushover. Give law enforcement a hard time. Give everybody a hard time. You know what I mean? But that's what's up the Carmelitas and putting theirs on the map right there. You know, these guys ain't no suckers. Ain't no chumps, ain't no pushovers. They will get it on and popping. You know what I mean? Like I said, this area is just gang infested and ruthless. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no chumps. You know, it be cracking right here in the southeast, homie. Don't ever get it twisted, because you know, you could end up leaking. But that's what's up with the Carmelitas right there.